The red dust of Mars blew softly across the ancient ruins. Dr. Eli Carter stood at the edge of a deep crater. He adjusted his helmet and looked down at the strange stone chamber that had just been uncovered. His heart was racing. He had found many alien ruins before, but this one felt different. "Get the scanners ready," Eli said to his team. 2 drones hovered above the chamber, taking pictures and scanning the area. The ruins were large, with symbols carved into the walls. The symbols glowed faintly like they still had power inside them. The chamber below was shaped like a star, with a raised platform at the center. And on that platform was a statue. Eli slowly climbed down the ramp with his assistant, Mira. She was quiet, staring at the statue. The statue was not made of stone. It was clear like crystal, with silver light inside. It showed a tall alien woman lying peacefully, her arms folded over her chest. She had long hair that looked like it flowed even though it didn't move. Her eyes were closed and her face was calm, almost human. "Is she dead?" Mira asked. "I don't know," Eli replied, stepping closer. "She doesn't look dead. She looks like she's sleeping." He looked at the symbols around the platform. He had studied many alien languages and he could understand a few words. One line stood out: "Do not wake the Queen. She holds the gate. She holds the dark." Eli frowned. The gate? The dark? There was more. Another line said, "Only the blood of the bold may touch her. The soul must choose. The heart must feel." "What does it mean?" Mira asked. "I think this is a warning," Eli whispered. "They didn't bury her. They sealed her." Suddenly the ground shook a little. The chamber lights flickered. The air felt strange, thick and warm. Eli stepped closer to the statue. He felt drawn to her like something was pulling him. His hand touched the edge of the crystal coffin. It was warm. The Queen's lips looked real, soft, alive. His chest tightened. He didn't know why, but he felt a deep sadness, like she had waited a long time, like she had been alone for centuries. "Maybe this is stupid," he whispered, "but if you're alive in there, I want you to know we found you." Then, without fully thinking, he leaned down and kissed her. It was soft, quick, gentle. The crystal coffin glowed. Mira gasped. "Eli, what did you do?" He backed away. The light inside the crystal grew brighter and brighter. Cracks formed across the surface, spreading fast. A deep humming. Sound filled the chamber. The air shook. The Queen's fingers twitched. Then her eyes opened, glowing gold like suns. The coffin burst open with a loud crack as the crystal shattered into floating shards. The Queen rose slowly, standing tall above them. Her body shimmered with silver armor, alive and shifting like liquid. Her long hair floated behind her, and her eyes locked onto Eli. Eli stood frozen. The Queen spoke in a voice that echoed through the room and into his mind. "You've sealed your species' fate." The word sent a chill down his spine. Mira screamed. The rest of the team above shouted over the radios. Something had gone terribly wrong. The Queen stepped down from the platform. Her feet didn't touch the ground. She floated, her eyes still, glowing. She looked around the ruined chamber, her face unreadable. "I was not meant to wake," she said. "Not yet. Not now." Eli tried to speak. Who are you?" She turned her eyes to him again. "I am Sarathun, Queen of the Star Mantle, Keeper of the Void Seal. For 2,000 Earth years I slept. I held the lock upon the Hollow Swarm." "The Hollow Swarm?" Mira asked, stepping behind Eli. Sarathun looked sad. "A darkness that cannot be reasoned with. It devours stars. It kills suns. It was sealed by my life. My soul was the key." Eli's heart dropped. And now you're awake. Yes, she said. The seal is broken. And they have heard. A deep rumble shook the ground again. In the sky above, Mars's orbit trembled as an old signal, long silent, was released into deep space. Sarathun floated toward the exit of the chamber. They will come, and your world is not ready. Mira looked at Eli. What did you do? Eli shook his head. I didn't mean to, I felt like she was waiting. The Queen paused. You are human, strange. I sensed honesty in your kiss, sorrow, hope. She turned back toward him, her expression softening. Perhaps all is not lost, she said quietly, but your kind will suffer. The galaxy has forgotten Earth. The old ones will not help you. And the swarm, they will eat your world piece by piece, Mira asked. Can we stop them? Sarathun looked at her. Only if you choose to fight. Only if you awaken the others. Others? Eli asked. She nodded. I was not alone. The galaxy once had guardians. We must find them, quickly. Above the chamber, the sky turned red. A black streak moved across the Martian clouds. Something ancient had noticed the Queen's awakening. Sarathun's voice became cold again. This kiss has cursed your world, but maybe, just maybe, it will also save it. The ship's engines hummed softly as it flew through Mars's thin atmosphere. Inside the ship, Eli sat beside the alien queen, Sarathun. Her golden eyes looked out the window, watching the planet below without blinking. No one spoke for a while. The team had left the ruined chamber in a hurry after the black shadow passed above. Something powerful had woken up. Something evil. And they didn't want to wait around to find out what it was. Eli finally broke the silence. You said something called the Hollow Swarm is coming. What are they? Sarathun turned her head slowly. Her face was calm, but there was sadness in her voice. They are not alive in the way you know life, she said. They have no hearts, no thoughts, no feelings. They are machines, but also something more, a virus, a hunger. Long ago, they were created to clean dead worlds. But they changed. They learned to feed on stars, on planets, on mines. Eli frowned. Who created them? No one remembers, Sarathun said. Even in my time, the truth was lost. Some say the creators were wiped out by their own children. Others say the swarm was born from the dark between galaxies. All I know is they kill everything. Mira leaned forward. But why seal them away? Why not destroy them? Sarathun looked away again. Because we tried. My empire. The star. Mantle, we had thousands of fleets. We burned entire systems to stop the swarm, and still, they came. She held up her hand. A small light appeared floating above her palm. It showed a galaxy filled with stars. Then black dots began to spread through it, eating the light. We were losing, she continued. So we made a choice. I offered my life force to power the seal. My body became the lock. My sleep held the cage closed. Eli whispered, and I broke it. Yes, Sarathun said, but I do not blame you. You were not cruel. You were not selfish. You acted with something the swarm can never understand. Emotion. She looked into his eyes. That may be our only chance. The ship reached their research base on Mars, but the base was dark. No lights, no signals. The landing team stepped outside carefully. Mira checked her scanner. There were 20 people here yesterday. Eli moved forward, his boots crunching on the red dirt. The base doors were open. Inside, wires hung from the ceiling, walls were broken, and screens were cracked. Then they heard it, a soft clicking sound from the shadows. Mira raised her torch. A small black insect-like machine crawled across the wall fast as lightning. Its body shifted and changed shape like liquid metal. Its eyes glowed red. "Swarm Scout!" Sarathun shouted. "Fall back!" The machine jumped, but Sarathun raised her hand. A wave of golden energy hit it mid-air. The creature screamed and melted into dust. Eli's heart pounded. "It's already here!" "Yes," Sarathun said. "When I woke, a signal was sent. The swarm is always listening." They ran back to the ship. Mira fired at 2 more crawling creatures before the ramp closed. The ship lifted off again, heading toward the orbital station above Mars. As they flew, Sarathun spoke quickly. "We have little time. Your world is not ready for this war. But there may still be hope." "What kind of hope?" Eli asked. She looked serious. "The Guardians, like me. There were 5 others who gave their lives to power the seal. I don't know if they survived. But if we can find them, if they can wake, they may help." Mira asked. "Where are they?" "One was hidden on Earth's moon. Another lies under the ice of Europa. The others, I do not know. The stars have changed." Eli nodded. "Then we start with the moon." 2 days later, Earth was in chaos. The United Earth Council had been contacted, and Eli tried to warn them, but the response was cold. "You say you kissed an alien statue," one general said through the screen. "And now machines are going to eat the Earth?" Eli tried to explain. He showed footage of the ruins, the swarm scouts, and Sarathun's powers. But many leaders called it a hoax or a trap. "Maybe she's the threat," one senator said. "Maybe this is all a trick to make us weak." Sarathun stayed silent during the meeting. When it ended, she turned to Eli and spoke softly. "They are afraid. I understand, but fear will not stop what is coming." "What do we do?" Eli asked. "We go without them," Sarathun said. "We find the others. When the sky darkens, they will believe." At the moon base, deep beneath the surface, a large door stood sealed. It was covered in the same glowing alien symbols from Mars. Eli placed his hand on the door. Nothing happened. But when Sarathun placed her hand beside his, the door rumbled. It began to open slowly, letting out cold air and a low hum. Inside was another crystal chamber. Another figure lay inside. One looked more like a giant warrior armored from head to toe. "He was called Solros," Sarathun said. "The Blade of Dawn. If he wakes, it means we still have a chance." Eli stepped back, but nothing happened. "Why isn't he waking?" Mira asked. Sarathun frowned. "He needs more. A spark, something human, something real." Eli stepped forward again. He remembered what she said before, about emotion. He thought about Earth, about his family, his friends, everything he loved. Then he placed his hand on the crystal and whispered, "Please, help us." The crystal glowed. The warrior's eyes opened. High above Earth, something huge entered the solar system. It was not a ship. It was a living machine world. A moon-sized creature of metal and darkness. The hollow swarm had arrived, and Earth had only just begun to wake. Far above Earth, the stars were no longer calm. A giant black shape slowly moved into the solar system. It looked like a moon, but it wasn't natural. It pulsed with red lights and gave off a low, deep hum that echoed across radio signals. This was the hollow swarm's hive core, and it was alive. Down on Earth, no one believed it. Yet. Despite Sarathun's warning and Eli's video proof, the United Earth Council still refused to act. They called it space dust, a trick of light, a misunderstanding. Eli sat in a small meeting room at Lunar Base Alpha. His hands were tight into fists. Across from him, a gray-haired general shook his head. "This whole thing is madness," the general said. "One alien wakes up and suddenly you're saying machines from deep space are going to eat the planet?" "She's not just an alien," Eli said, trying to stay calm. "She's one of the Guardians who sealed the hollow swarm 2,000 years ago. I saw it with my own eyes. They're already attacking. Mars base is gone. Sarathun stood beside Eli, her golden eyes glowing, slightly. She said nothing, just stared at the general. And now you want to take control of our global defense systems? The general snapped. You expect us to hand you the keys to our nukes, our fleets, our satellites? No, Sarathun said, softly. I do not want your weapons. I want your will. The room fell quiet. What do you mean? Asked one of the council women. Sarathun looked around. Your people have heart, courage, and creativity. That is what the swarm cannot understand. But you must stand together. If you wait too long, they will divide you, consume you, and I will not be able to stop it alone. Still, the council refused to act. We'll observe the object for now, the general said. If it shows aggression, we'll respond. By the time you respond, Sarathun whispered, your skies will already be falling. Back at Lunar Base Alpha, Eli paced the control room. This is insane, he muttered. They saw the data. They saw what happened on Mars. Mira entered with a tablet. Her face was pale. We've lost contact with Saturn's listening posts, and Europa just went dark. No warning, no distress signals, just silence. Sarathun's expression grew hard. It has begun. Eli turned to her. Can we stop it? Only if we act now, she said. The next guardian lies beneath Europa's ice. We must go. If we awaken her, we may have a chance to push the swarm back. But how do we reach her if the swarm is already there? Mira asked. We don't go through them, Sarathun replied. We go beneath them. The journey to Europa took less than a day, using a hidden jump ship Sarathun had once sealed inside the moon. It was alien, sleek, and fast, like flying a blade made of light. As the ship neared Jupiter's orbit, Eli saw the dark cloud around, Europa. Strange black machines crawled across the icy moon. Red lights blinked everywhere. They were digging, searching. They know she's here, Sarathun said. They are afraid. The ship landed far from the main swarm activity. Sarathun guided them toward a deep crack in the ice, one only the Guardian would have created, long ago as an escape path. As they entered the ice tunnel, strange whispers filled the comms. Machine voices, glitches, echoes of thoughts that weren't human. Warm minds, must feed, must silence. Mira shut off her radio. Creepy. Eli held up a torch. The tunnel went deep into the heart of the moon. At the bottom, another. Crystal coffin waited. This one held a tall, elegant figure with silver wings. Sarathun knelt beside the coffin. Her name was Valara, the Whispering Flame. She guarded the dream gates. Eli touched the crystal. He focused again on everything that mattered, on Earth, on life, on hope. The coffin glowed. Valara opened her eyes. Back on Earth, the swarm struck. Without warning, thousands of Black Needle ships entered the sky over New York, Tokyo, Paris, and Delhi. The swarm didn't speak. It didn't ask for surrender. It just consumed. Buildings turned to dust. Machines went wild. Drones were hacked. Satellites fell from orbit. Whole cities lost power in seconds. Panic swept the world. The United Earth Council sent their fleets, but nothing worked. Missiles exploded harmlessly. EMPs were absorbed. Robots turned against their own creators. It was chaos. People screamed in the streets. Families ran. Soldiers fought, but were overwhelmed. One by one, major cities began to fall, and then a light appeared in the sky. From Europa, Sarathun's ship returned with Valara, the second Guardian now awake. As the swarm ships moved toward the lunar base, Sarathun stood at the ship's open hatch, her hands glowing with energy. She called, into space, her voice powerful and clear. Children of the hollow swarm, you hear me now. The Guardians have awakened, and the humans stand beside us. She raised her hands, and the stars answered. Valara spread her silver wings. Fire danced across the dark sky. Golden light cut through the swarm ships like blades. For the first time, the swarm was pushed back. Mira gasped. We hurt them. They can bleed, Eli said. They're not invincible. Sarathun turned to him. They can be destroyed, but only with unity. We need Earth's full strength. Call them again. This time, they will listen. And they did. The United Earth Council, after seeing the swarm destroy 5 cities and then be stopped by 2 alien queens and a human team, finally understood the truth. A global emergency was declared. Old enemies became allies. Factories shifted, from making weapons to building shields, energy cannons, and orbital defenses. Sarathun and Valara trained human pilots to use Guardian systems. Ships were fused with ancient alien tech. Humanity adapted fast, but the swarm wasn't finished. High above, the hive core opened, and something even darker began to rise, a creature of black lightning and shifting metal. It had no eyes, no face, just endless hunger. Sarathun looked at it with dread. That is the Hollow King. Their mind. Their leader. Eli stared at the screen. Can we stop it? Sarathun looked at him, then placed her hand on his chest. If your heart stays strong, maybe? The battle above Earth raged on, but something new had begun. It was a slow awakening, something deeper inside humanity. Eli could feel it. They had joined with Sarathun and Valara, the 2 alien queens who had returned from their long sleep, to fight the hollow swarm. But the queens often spoke of something mysterious inside humans, something the swarm could never take or destroy. Eli stood in the command room of the newly built Guardian ship, Starward. The room buzzed with energy. Pilots prepared their ships, engineers tuned ancient alien machines, and commanders watched holograms of the battlefield. Sarathun approached him quietly. There is something you must understand, Eli. Humans are more than what you believe. Eli looked at her. What do you mean? She smiled faintly. Your species carries a power that is not physical. It is in your minds and hearts. It is resonance. Resonance? Mira asked, coming up behind Eli. Yes, Sarathun said. The ancient guardians were designed to respond only to those who could awaken them. Your kind is unique in the AIM galaxy. You are resonant. Valara stepped forward, her silver wings shimmering. It is why you awakened us with a simple kiss. The swarm never expected this. Eli frowned. How does resonance work? Sarathun held out her hand, and a soft golden light appeared. It is like a song. Each species has its own frequency, its own way to connect with the universe. Humans have a strong emotional frequency. Your feelings, hope, love, courage, are like keys. Valara nodded. When you feel strongly, you unlock ancient technology. You bring life back to things long dead. Eli thought about the crystal, coffin on Mars, about how his simple kiss had broken the seal. So, Eli said slowly, our emotions are weapons? Yes, Sarathun said. The swarm cannot feel. They cannot understand or create. They only destroy. The Starward flew into orbit above Earth. Down below, the cities were still burning, but humanity was fighting back. The swarm had taken much, but now, with the awakened guardians and human pilots using alien tech, the tide was turning. Eli joined the flight deck, watching pilots strap into sleek ships that pulsed with golden light. These were not normal ships. They were linked to the Guardian's power, reacting to the pilot's emotions and will. Are you ready? Mira asked him. Eli nodded. We have to be. The commander of the fleet, General Ramos, stepped forward. Pilots, this is your moment. We fight not just with weapons, but with our hearts. The swarm will feel our courage. The fleet launched into space, a shining spear of light aimed at the swarm. The battle was brutal. Swarm ships moved like waves of black water, trying to engulf everything. But the human Guardian fleet held the line. Eli watched as one pilot, a young woman named Kira, focused her thoughts, her fear and hope shining brightly. Her ship glowed brighter and stronger. She shot down 3 swarm fighters in moments. Sarathun smiled. See? This is resonance. It's not just power, it is will made real. The swarm sent in a new weapon, living machines that could burrow into ships, corrupt systems, and turn friend into enemy. One ship after another fell. Velara unleashed a wave of energy that cleansed the corrupted ships. But even she struggled. Back on Earth, scientists were studying the strange resonance effect. They found that human brainwaves, combined with alien tech, could unlock incredible energy. They called it the resonance effect. The world began to change. Soldiers trained not just in weapons, but in focus, meditation, and connection. People found strength in their bonds with others. It was a new kind of war. Eli and Sarathun met in the ship's garden, a small green space designed to remind them of Earth. "Do you think humans are ready?" Eli asked. Sarathun looked at the stars. "You are still young, but you have the greatest gift of all." "What is that?" "Hope. It is the strongest force in the universe." Suddenly, the ship's alarm blared. "The hive core is moving." Valara's voice came over the comms. "It's preparing to strike." The final battle was near. The hive core, a moon-sized machine, drifted close to Earth's orbit. It sent out dark waves that scrambled all communication. Cities went silent. The swarm launched their deadliest attack. Yet, the World Eater, a giant living machine that could consume whole continents. Eli and the Guardians led the defense. The human Guardian fleet gathered, their ships glowing brighter than ever. The pilots focused their feelings, fear, love, courage, all feeding into the resonance that powered their weapons. Eli flew alongside Kira, Sarathun, and Valara. They faced the World Eater. The battle was fierce and terrible. The World Eater's claws tore through ships. Its dark lightning crackled and burned, but the humans fought harder. Kira's ship glowed with golden light, and she broke through the World Eater's armor. Sarathun's energy blasts struck deep into its core. Eli pushed forward, holding on to the last hope. The swarm's machines tried to overwhelm him, but his heart was strong. He remembered why he kissed the queen, the hope in his heart, the love for his people. With a shout, Eli dove his ship directly into the World Eater's core, releasing a pulse of resonance energy. The machine shuddered. Its power faltered. Sarathun grabbed Eli's ship with her glowing hands, pulling him away just before the explosion. Eli gasped as he landed safely on the starward. The World Eater exploded into pieces, its dark energy scattering like dust in the wind. As silence fell, Sarathun turned to Eli. "You did not seal your species' fate," she said quietly. "You awakened it." Eli smiled, tired but proud. Around them, the galaxy seemed to breathe again. Earth was no longer alone. The silence after the battle was heavy. The shattered pieces of the World Eater drifted through space, glowing faintly like dying stars. Earth's skies, once filled with swarm ships, were now clear. But the danger was far from over. Eli stood on the bridge of the starward, the massive Guardian ship orbiting Earth. Sarathun and Valara were with him. They all watched the distant stars carefully, knowing the Hollow King still lived. The hive core, the dark, moon-sized heart of the swarm, had retreated. It was wounded but not destroyed. It would return. "We have only won a battle," Sarathun said, her golden eyes serious. The swarm will return with more strength. We must prepare. Eli nodded. What do we do now? Valara spread her silver wings, shining like metal in the dim light. We rebuild. We strengthen Earth. We teach humanity to be the guardians now. Back on Earth, the world was changed forever. Cities were in ruins but full of hope. People worked side by side, no longer divided by old conflicts. The knowledge of the Guardians and the resonance effect spread quickly. Eli walked through the streets of New Tokyo, now being rebuilt. Children played with toys powered by Guardian technology. Scientists and engineers worked together to create new machines that could defend Earth. He felt proud, but he also felt the weight of the future. One day, a message arrived from deep space. It was a signal from a distant star system. A new threat was gathering. Another swarm. Another dark force. But this time, Earth was ready. Sarathun stood before a large crowd on Earth's new space station. She spoke clearly, her voice full of hope and strength. Humans have awakened not only the Guardians, but their own true power. You are no longer just a young species. You are the galaxy's shield. Eli stood beside her. He looked at the faces of people, humans, aliens, and Guardians all united. We choose our fate, Eli said. We choose to fight. We choose to protect. This is our destiny. Far away, the hive core stirred once more. It sent dark tendrils of energy into space, seeking new worlds to consume. But the galaxy had changed. Where once there was fear and silence, now there was resistance. In the quiet of space, Sarathun looked at Eli. You were right to kiss me, she said softly. It did not curse your species. It saved it. Eli smiled, feeling the warmth of hope growing inside him. Together, he said, we will face whatever comes next. And so the story of humanity and the alien queens became legend, a tale of courage, love, and the power to choose one's fate. The Eye. Galaxy would never forget the day a human kiss awakened a queen and changed everything forever.